And we are underway in heat number 3 of the Schoolboys Coxed Fours. Lane 2, Launceston Grammar. Lane 3, the King's School. Lane 4, Brisbane Grammar. Lane 5, St Augustine's. Lane 6, the Shaw School. And Lane 7, St Joseph's College. So plenty of big name schools here, and we can see them going through the 1,000 metres. There is about a canvas between first and fourth. There's absolutely nothing. At first and fifth even, probably only St Joseph's in sixth place over in lane number 7. That you would say would be out of it at the moment. So first 4 to go through to the semi-final, which means one of these crews is going to have to go through the repechage, and you would imagine they'll be very competitive in that. Over in lane 2, we've got Launceston Grammar, Monty Brown, Augustin Sullivan, Arkless, Oliver Quinn, George Beecham and Jamari Lockhart, coached by James Cooming and Jack Barrett. Lane 3 from the King's School, we have Oscar Petrus, William Hurst, Louis Todd, Luke Fleet, Ty Watson. He's the coxswain, and they're coached by Harrison Randell and Stephen Edwards. Brisbane Grammar is Isaac Spiller, Alistair Jackson, Bede Stuckey, Lachlan Smith, Gracie Gascoigne as the coxswain, and they're coached by Richard Powell and Daniel Horsley. Lane 5 from St Augustine's, Jay Taylor, Max Tancred, Jason Cow, William Pender, Ryder Taylor as the coxswain, they're coached by Bjarni and Judith Ungamak. Lane 6 from the Shaw School, William Kellett, Max Gillian, Harry Marshall, Jasper Halstead, Hamish Longstaff, and coached by Ollie Smith. And then St Joseph's College is Daniel Taylor, Fergus O'Callaghan, Harper Timms, Thomas Maloney and Darcy Willis, with coach Lachlan Miles.
Well through the third 500 now in this race, as Stuart said, incredibly close at the 1,000 metre mark. 0 point something between each of our top 5 crews, with Launceston Grammar School ever so narrowly in front. The Tasmanians over there in lane 2, and the Shaw School on lane 6, possibly second, but I think it's Launceston Grammar School and St Augustine's have dropped a length or so further off the pace, ahead still of St Joseph's. That's St Joseph's and Sydney, of course, the lane 7 crew. So with 4 to go through, even though the order is far from certain, now qualifiers may well be just about sorted out, unless St Augustine's can mount a late charge, possibly on Shaw or Brisbane Grammar School, either side of them.
Well, St Augustine's has a fantastic record in this event. So you think about a couple of those Cox Fours going through to Australian Junior representation as well. I think it was back in 2022 when they won the Cox Fours in the World Championships.
Yes.
So I don't think I'd ever count out an Ungamak coached Coxed Four. An Ungamak coached anything.
Exactly right. And I think that's precisely what we're seeing here. They have Shaw in their sights. Brisbane Grammar School just trailing from Kings, and Launceston Grammar, who've led throughout the race on lane 2, still well placed there on the far side. So 4 crews to go through to join the 4 who've already qualified from each of the previous 2 heats here. But it is still Launceston Grammar, just the King's School of Sydney alongside them. Brisbane Grammar School in the light blue boat. The Shaw School again in Sydney, lane 6. In between them, St Augustine certainly making up some ground on the crew from Shaw ahead of them. But Launceston Grammar School have gone for home with 50 metres to row there on the southern side of the Sydney International Regatta, and they should take out heat 3. It'll be tight butt Kings, Shaw, Brisbane Grammar School all going for the minor placings. Launceston Grammar School win it by a length. Second place will go to Kings. Third and fourth will be a photo between Brisbane Grammar School and Shaw, but they'll both go through. St Augustine's will finish in 5th position. 6th will go to St Joseph's. It might be the Shaw School narrowly there, it looks like, into 3rd spot, ahead of the crew from Brisbane Grammar. But we'll wait on official confirmation of those placings. But the top 4, in any case, will move through to the semi-finals of the Schoolboys Coxed Four.
Launceston Grammar with the win in heat number 3. The Schoolboys Cox Four, a winning time of 6 minutes 39.89. That compares to 6:41 in heat number 2 and 6:37 in heat number 1. So some fantastic rowing coming up in the Schoolboys Coxed Fours. As we just see now, the start is underway. We've got the first heat of the Schoolgirls Double Scull, first and second through to the A final, with the rest going through to the repechage. So a full field in this heat. In lane 1 from Haileybury, we have Clodagh McCarthy and Kate McNeil, and they're coached by Andrew McNeil and Susan Andrews. Lane 2 from Walford Anglican School in South Australia, Amelia Viacelli and Eloise Bago. In lane 3 from Loretto Normanhurst, Stella Moore and Patricia Boland, coached by Thomas Parker. Lane 4 from St Patrick's College, Townsville, Georgia Cresswell and Holly Wilkie, coached by Harrison Parks. In Lane 5 from Shelford Girls Grammar, Gemma Beer and Millie D, coached by Jules Whitehead. Lane 6 from St Patrick's College, Townsville, Aluka Hammond and Keely Adabar, coached by Harrison Parks. Lane 7 from Pembroke School in South Australia, Abby Young and Mia Chapman, coached by Matthew Nielsen. And in Lane 8 from St Peter's Lutheran College up in Queensland, Eva Hosking and Summer Phillips, and they're coached by David Vandis and Nigel Stubbs. As we just see, that's St Peter's Lutheran School over on the left-hand side with the early lead through the 250 metres. But we have seen a number of times throughout this regatta, Richard, where crews get very excited going off the line, put a bit too many eggs in the omelettes, and
exactly what it matters. And yeah, exactly true. But it is a very good start to, well, 3 combinations there on that right-hand side of the screen, on the southern side of the course. So I'm not surprised to see Haileybury up there. Clodagh McCarthy and Kate McNeil, although they must be close to the most tight athletes at the regatta, given they've been doing this since almost the first race on Monday morning. But they're coached by Andrew McNeil and Susan Andrews, racing here for Haileybury. But the race lead, in fact, is with the St Peter's Lutheran College right across on the other side. Lane 8, Eva Hosking and Summer Phillips, our race leaders there, coached by David Vandis and Nigel Stubbs. Haileybury second at the 500 metre mark there. And then we had next to the Haileybury crew, or near the Haileybury crew at least, we had Shelford Girls Grammar School and also Loretto Normanhurst. So plenty of chances across the course. There's a new event too this year, Stuart, the Schoolgirls Double Scull, the Schoolboys ends, which is the next event, and the Schoolgirls Double Scull being held for the first time as part of the Schools Championship regatta here to provide some opportunities for those schools with can't often put a quad or an 8 on the water, but something different to the single scull, of which we've just seen many heats as well.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's a great addition. You know, if you've got those smaller schools, and particularly for the ones that don't have a rowing program, so you might have a couple of people from that are at a club that are from the same school. They've got the opportunity to race in the schoolboys, schoolgirls double scull. Not everyone's a great single sculler, but certainly, you know, the opportunity. And I love racing in crew boats just because, you know, you're in a single, you can go, oh, for me anyway, and I'm not very good, but you can sit there and go, okay, well, you know, it's just for me. Whereas if I've got somebody in behind me or somebody in front of me, I am pushing really hard.
The incentive there, yes, to perform is
the best.
Is maintained right through the race.
Just on Clodagh McCarthy and Kate McNeil, this is the 7th time that they've gone down the course so far. So they're entered into 3 events. So they had the heat and the repechage for the under 19 women's double sculls, the heat, repechage, semi-final and B-final for the under 19 women's coxless pairs. And now they're going down. This is the final entry. It's a schoolgirls double scull. So they will certainly be very tight.
Yes, not to mention a few single sculling races that certainly I know Kate McNeil has been part of as well, and a couple of crew boats as well. So it's a huge regatta for those girls racing here for the Haileybury School in Melbourne, who are unfortunately one of the few schools with the future of rowing I know is under serious reconsideration. I'm not quite sure where the status that is with Haileybury right now, but there are certainly questions of whether they'll remain a rowing school beyond this season.
Yeah, and it'd be a shame to lose that support from the schools. You know, and let's face it, it's an expensive sport. Trying to get a hold of boats, and they're not cheap. So fingers crossed they're able to hang in there. And likewise for Clodagh McCarthy and Kate McNeil, they're able to hang in there. They've just had that gap. They went out nice and hard early on, and through 1,000 metres they had a couple of seconds over the crew from Loretto Normanhurst, and that's Stella Moore and Patricia Boland. But that Loretto Normanhurst crew just starting to close that gap, first and second through to the final, straight through to the A final, with the rest going through to the repechage. So 6 races already.
Wouldn't you love a race off if you could get one?
You would absolutely 100% love a race off. So we'll keep an eye on that one. It's a battle for 2nd and 3rd. Out in front, St Peter's Lutheran College, Eva Hosking and Summer Phillips with that lead and looking very comfortable. Plenty of clear water in there. We can see across St Patrick's Townsville, the crew of Cresswell and Wilkie just sitting in 4th place at the moment. And then a couple of lanes across, we've got the other St Patrick's College Townsville crew of Hammond and Adabar in 5th place. And then behind them, we have the Pembroke School, Abby Young, Mia Chapman. Shelford Girls Grammar, Gemma Beer and Millie D. And then also Walford Anglican School, Amelia Biaselli and Eloise Bagot.
St Patrick's Townsville have taken this new event with gusto too. 2 entrants in this first heat, 2 in the second heat as well. So they've got 4 of the 16 crews entered in the schoolgirls double scull. So they are certainly well placed to progress several crews here.
Half a second between Haileybury and Loretto Normanhurst in that battle for the A final. Ken McCarthy and McNeil hold on. 4th place, St Patrick's Townsville. That's the crew over there in lane number 4, Cresswell and Wilkie. Hammond and Adabar also from St Patrick's sitting in 5th place. Shelford Girls Grammar in 6th place. That's the crew of Beer and D. Pembroke School, Young and Chapman in 7th place in lane number 7, and then back a little bit further to Walford Anglican Schools, Biaselli and Bagot. As we're just seeing now, and it may well be that Loretto Normanhurst have rode through Haileybury, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Do they have anything? That opportunity to have a day off into the last 250 metres. It's still St Peter's Lutheran College up in Queensland, Eva Hosking and Summer Phillips, who've had the lead right from the start. So you mentioned a couple of times, Richard, we've got the wind that's doing a few interesting things. It's gone from southerly to a tailwind to a headwind to a southerly and absolutely everything in between. The temperature at the moment, it's actually quite pleasant out there. It's about 21 degrees. Somewhere around the 10 kilometre an hour mark. So it's certainly, it's making life interesting, but it's certainly not making it that tricky.
No. I've just had some news through too that confirming the Haileybury program does finish, in fact, at the end of the 2025 season, I'm told. So there's one more season left for the Haileybury Schooler beyond this one. But it looks like it might be 3rd place here for McNeil and McCarthy, because Moore and Boland of Loretto Normanhurst have narrowly got their boat in front into 2nd. And the grey boat on this side of St Peter's Lutheran College from Brisbane, Eva Hosking and Summer Phillips, take the first ever heat of the schoolgirls double scull. They are through to the final directly. 2nd place. Timing is giving it the other way around at this stage. We'll await confirmation there.
It was Haileybury in 3rd place.
I'm sure it was Haileybury 3rd, yes. And Loretto Normanhurst have been missed off the system there. In fact, in 2nd place, Stella Moore and Patricia Boland. Haileybury 3rd, Walford 4th. St Patrick's Townsville with 2 crews in the race in 5th and 6th place it will be as the rest of the field comes home. Lane 5, Shelford across in 7th place, and lane 7, the Pembroke School, will finish in 8th. We'll let the timing correct itself, and but certainly there was St Peter's and Loretto Normanhurst going.
Biaselli and of 7 minutes 40.16. They did just drop off the pace a little bit towards the end there. They well and truly had that one won. So we just see Walford Anglican crossing over the line. So underway in heat number 2 of the schoolgirls double scull. Again, 1st and 2nd through to the A final. A little bit easier because there are a couple of scratchings in this race. So no lane 1, lane 2 from St Patrick's Townsville, Lily Bragg and Emily Edison, coached by Harrison Parks. No lane 3 from Walford Anglican. From Toorak College, we have Sophia Miller and Lucinda Johnston, coached by Nick Wells. Lane 5 from Queenwood School, Georgina Markram and Kiana Gapillard, coached by Tom Walker. Lane 6 from Stewart Holmes School, Elkie Jensen and Sophie Fryer. Lane 7 from Loretto Ballarat, Emma Gowans and Meg Lynch, coached by Brad Butel and Paul Blanchfield. And lane 8 from Shelford Girls Grammar, we have Hannah Coughlin and Isabel Higgins, coached by Jules Whitehead.
We have now got those corrected results too from the previous race, Stuart. So the first heat, it was won by St Peter's lane 8 ahead of Loretto Normanhurst lane 3. They were clearly our top 2 and through to the final. 3rd, Haileybury. 4th, St Patrick's Townsville in lane 4. 5th, St Patrick's lane 6. 6th place went to the crew from Shelford. 7th, Pembroke School. 8th, Walford Anglican. 7:39.96 the winning time, and 3.35 seconds from 1st to 2nd place.
St Patrick's Townsville with the lead at the 1500 metre mark, and it's a nice lead as well. 9 seconds between them and Miller and Johnston from Toorak College. Loretto Ballarat in 3rd, then Stewart Home, Queenwood and Shelford Girls Grammar. So just the 6 crews coming down comfortably out in front as they're coming now towards the final 250 metres.
Lily Brad second in, I think it was heat 2 or 3 or so, but it's going to qualify, you would think, in this boat straight through the final, so she'll deserve. Sophia Miller and Lucinda Johnson. Sophia Miller actually from Sydney originally, moved on into Melbourne, I think, last year. I think she was an Aston student actually, and but now rows for Toorak College, which still surprises me. Toorak College is not in Toorak. It's in Mount Eliza on the Mornington Peninsula. So don't be confused by the name. It started in Toorak many, many years ago, but the school is now in Mount Eliza, but it's called Toorak College, just to trick people like me.
I guess it's all about the branding, isn't it? Mount Eliza College.
Look, Mount Eliza is a very nice area, but Toorak College is a, yes, you're right, it's a tough name to beat. But
I mean, unless there's an AFL team there, I just have no idea about the geography.
yes, true. It's some no AFL teams in Townsville, I'll tell you that much. St Patrick's from Townsville out in front here. Lily Bragg and Emily Edison, coached by Harrison Parks, ahead of the double scull from Toorak College. There's about 3.5 lengths between the two, but they'll both comfortably go through to qualify from this second and final heat. It will be of the schoolgirls double scull. So Bragg and Edison finished first. Miller and Johnson in second place for Toorak/Mount Eliza College. Third will go to lane 7. That is Loretto Ballarat, although they're rowing in the Wendouree Ballarat colours there. Emma Gowans and Meg Lynch. So a Wendouree Ballarat combination, but entered, of course, as their school in this event, Loretto Ballarat. Fourth goes then to Stuart Home there, ahead of Shelford, and also Queenwood in 6th place in the second and final heat of the schoolgirls double scull. So there is, there is a gap in the program, but the next race has just begun in any case. But we should just confirm the final time there from race 330. It was 7:52.52. The time there for the combination from St Patrick's of Townsville, 6.60 seconds from first to second. That was about 13 seconds slower, but as I mentioned, that's Lily Bragg's second race in an hour and a quarter. So possibly a reason they did just what they had to do to qualify. Now, Stuart, we've talked up the volunteers a lot throughout this regatta, but we've just had word through again that there are still more needed, especially tomorrow afternoon to work in the spectator services area. So anyone who's around the venue today or listening on the live stream and wants to come and be a part of this regatta, there are some shifts available, especially for tomorrow afternoon. You too can have a bright yellow shirt like our volunteer boat holders have there on the start pontoon. So those, not particularly the role we're trying to fill, but certainly the spectator services assistants from around the venue, helping people get in and out and around, we are in need of for tomorrow afternoon. So please make yourselves known through the Rowing Australia website or email address, or come and find Bianca Chieri here at the venue and join us here tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, and it's going to be just having a look at the races on tomorrow afternoon. We've got the repechage for the schoolgirls, schoolboy single sculls. We've got the Coxed 4 heats for the schoolgirls and the repechage for the boys, and then the club women's Coxless 4s and men's as well. So some fantastic racing going on tomorrow afternoon. So what better way to go and view it than not having to pay to get in?
Absolutely. A leisurely Friday afternoon on the banks of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. I can't think of too much else one would rather do, but yes, particularly the case for tomorrow afternoon. I suspect there might still be shifts available too on Saturday and Sunday. So if you're going to be around and have some time to spare, please make yourself known to one of the regatta officials, and we can arrange all of that. And you will get some food as well, so you'll be well looked after as a volunteer here at this regatta.
Underway in heat number 1 of the schoolboys double sculls. You can see the beautiful footage from the drone as they head down the course. In lane 1 from Northern Beaches, we have Julian Lamarche and Floris Elias, coached by Tom Schranko and Kieran Kavelki. Lane 2 from Norwood International High in South Australia, Nicholas Halulis and Oliver Evans-Woods, coached by Brenton Terrell and Alexander Worthington. Lane 3 has a Cranbrook crew of Lachlan Larson and Jack Stone, coached by Adrian Henning and Sam Carroll. Scratching in lane 4 from Cathedral Townsville, we just saw Henry Chin go down in the single scull, so obviously taking a well-earned break after doing well there. Lane 5 from Gippsland Grammar, Connor Howard and Jack Courtney, coached by Helena Singleton and Henry McLeod. Lane 6 from Newcastle Grammar, Edward Baker and Mitchell Chung, coached by Brad Smith. And lane 7 from Scotch Oak. We're just seeing the Norwood International going down the course now. It's a lot of black and white there. So they're leading through 1,000, just ahead of the Scotch Oakburn crew of Dowling and Parker, and then back to Cranbrook. Looking like they're in 3rd place, and then across Northern Beaches Secondary College, and then Newcastle Grammar a little bit in behind them in the distinctive pink bucket hats, and then Gippsland Grammar of Howard and Courtney sitting in as well. So that's through 1,000 metres. So it's the 2 crews on either side. So we've got Norwood International High, second from the left, and I think the Scotch Oakburn crew from Tasmania may just have rode through them as they went past the 1,000 metre timing point, Richard.
Yeah, it does look to be the case. That crew on lane 7 from Launceston in the north of Tasmania, in a good battle certainly with Norwood International High from South Australia. Still Norwood narrowly, it seems, at the halfway mark at least, but they're heading up towards the next timing point now, so we'll see if that gap has narrowed and where Scotch Oakburn do find themselves placed. They train on the North Esk River, the Scotch Oakburn program, just a little bit upstream from the North Esk Club, the impressive North Esk Club, which I mentioned earlier. There's a very good coffee shop up above it.
That's the most important.
That is.
Well, if you don't have post-row coffee, particularly on a Saturday, have you really rowed?
This is true, but I just skipped the row and went straight to the coffee shop because it's one of the, certainly the time I've spent in Launceston, a very scenic place to get an early morning coffee at the top level of the North Esk Boathouse and watch the work going on below at the same time without quite joining in.
So it is Lewis and Evans Wood. About boat length clear of the Norwood International High crew. It's 2 seconds between the two, first, second, third and fourth to go through to the semi-final, with the rest going through to the repechage tomorrow. So Cranbrook, the first, also in the qualification position, as Northern Beaches High, Lermatre and Elias. So about 4 seconds back to Newcastle Grammar in 5th place. So they do have a bit of work if they are to go through and qualify directly for the semi-finals and skip out on that repechage. Gippsland Grammar sitting in 6th place. And as we say, there was a scratching from the Cathedral School. So 4 crews will go through to the semi-final and 2 crews.
Yes, indeed. So another new event here, the Schoolboys Double Scull, being contested for the first time at the National Championships. A slightly bigger field than for the girls event. So that's why there are 3 heats, and it will be the top 4 going through to the semi-final round of racing. So we'll have 12 semi-finalists coming out of these 3 heats and the remaining crews into a repechage. This top 2 comfortably clear, but it certainly does look as if the Tasmanian combination here on the finish tower or the grandstand side of the course is the better placed of these 2 crews, ahead of Norwood International High of South Australia. To be through. In spots, Cranbrook there still look to be in 3rd place. And then we have the crew from Newcastle Grammar ahead of Gippsland Grammar. But it's going to be the blue boat, the dark blue boat of Scotch Oakburn College from Launceston to come across for a 2-length win in the first heat of the Schoolboys Double Scull. Ollie Dowling and Cameron Parker, the winners there on lane 7. Second place goes to Norwood International High from South Australia, Nicholas Valulis and Oliver Evans Wood. The bright caps there of the Cranbrook schools standing out certainly on lane 3, Lachlan Larson and Jack Stone through to the semis as well, in company with Northern Beaches Secondary College from Sydney, Julian Lemaitre and Florius Elias. They come across the line 2 and 4th spot. 5th will go to Newcastle Grammar and 6th will be Gippsland Grammar.
So a win there for Scotch Oakburn in a time of 6 minutes 50.20, and they go through to the semi-finals along with Norwood International High, Cranbrook and Northern Beaches Secondary College. So moving on to heat number 2 of the schoolboys double scull. Lane 1 from Newcastle Grammar, we have Lucas Burton and Ronan Brown. In lane 2 from Western Heights College in Victoria, Tad Bailey and Xander Bailey, coached by Ian Bridgeland and Jeff Watt. Now we do have a couple not in this race that were due to go. So lane 3 from Newcastle Grammar and lane 4 from the Shore School. Lane 5 from Brisbane State High, Owen Johnson and Ruben Brosnan, coached by Tom Riles and Tom Herborn. In lane 6, we have Varsity College from Queensland, Charles Hill and William Crelly, coached by James Harcombe. And lane 7 from Gibson Grammar, Himesh Rajapaski and Stuart Ray, and they're coached by Alexandra.
Combination there, Ty and Xander Bailey, the two twins from Geelong, coached by Ian Bridgeland and Jeff Watt. Xander's been rowing slightly longer than his brother, and in fact raced earlier today, coming into, I think it was 6th spot in the final of the under-17 men's single scull, rowing for Corio Bay, but racing here with his twin brother, and they are well clear here in the second heat of the schoolboys double scull. They're certainly sculling specialists, these two, and obviously as twins they tend to row fairly well together in the double scull as well.
Just imagining what Mark and Steve Wall might have been like in a double scull, because they were certainly very interesting to watch bat.
Yes, they've wasted their talent as cricketers. They should have been rowers the whole time.
Definitely should have been rowers the entire time. Tad Bailey, Xander Bailey with the lead ahead of Lucas Burton and Ronan Brown from Newcastle Grammar, as we just see again that wonderful footage that we've got coming across. Brisbane State High, Owen Johnson and Ruben Brosnan sitting there in the distinctive bucket hats, going past the 1250 metre mark. And you really get a bit of an idea. I mean, it always looks so easy when it's up on the screen, and certainly this crew from Western Heights College, the Bailey twins, looking very comfortable out there at the moment, but I can guarantee you they'll be absolutely hurting when they're in there.
Oh yes, definitely. And I do like the new colours. Most of their rowing is done for the Corio Bay Club, but they appeared there was a school regatta a few weeks ago in the colours of Western Heights College. The first time I'd seen them, and you can't but be attracted to the bright orange of that school from Geelong.
It's some Greater Western Sydney vibes, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but you don't dare mention that in Geelong, I can assure you. It's all about the Cats there, and they're new. I think it's about a 40,000 seat stadium now at Cardinia Park. It's been upgraded upon upgrade to upgrade, and they reopened it again just last weekend after stage 5 was complete, the new Joel Selwood stand. So yeah, don't mention GWS if you're in Geelong.
I was going to say, don't mention a new stadium if you live in Canberra.
or if you're from Brisbane for that matter. They're still fighting over that one too.
I'll leave that go through to the keeper as we see Newcastle Grammar sitting in 2nd place, Brisbane State High in 3rd, but they look to be moving up through that through that third 500 metres. Again, our first 4 going through to the semi-finals. So the crew at this stage that's due to miss out is the Alexandra Watson. And we will see Sunday. Single scull.
Some competition.
I'll be down at the back of the field.
Be enjoying the race.
It's one of those things. Opportunity to race the interstate, you know, whether it's for me, it's in the PR3 category. Is amazing, and you can hear the cheers as they're coming down. It can't help but give you a bit of a boost.
Absolutely.
And it you know, 2019 when nationals were with the Australian Rowing Championships were last year, and I just remember it was my first time at a nationals, and I just remember being completely blown away by the atmosphere and really looking forward to experience it from the water, which is not something that everyone gets to do. So I'm extremely lucky there.
We look forward to that happening on Sunday. But here come the Bailey brothers from Western Heights College in Geelong. Take Bailey and Xander Bailey, coached by Ian Bridgeland and Jeff Watt, comfortably win their heat of the schoolboys double scull. A good go for second here, charging home on lane 5. I think Brisbane State High School, Ewan Johnson and Ruben Brosnan have just pinched second ahead of Newcastle Grammar School, Lucas Burton and Ronan Brown, but both will qualify for the semis regardless, as will the Varsity College combination from the Gold Coast in Queensland, Charles Hill and William Crelly. They cross in 4th, and Gibson Grammar School will be in 5th place in a couple of strokes time to conclude the second heat of 3 in the schoolboys double scull.
So a win for Western Heights College, Tad and Xander Bailey. Second place to Brisbane State High, third to Newcastle Grammar and fourth to Varsity College. Those four crews going through to the semi-finals, with Gippsland Grammar going through to the repechage. Heat number 3. RA scratching in lane number 2. Lane 3 from St Patrick's College in Victoria, Oscar Farrington and Harrison Grant, coached by Jamie McDonald and Paul Blanchfield. In lane 4 from Cranbrook School, we have Christopher Vlahos and Luke Martin. Lane 5 from Varsity College up in Queensland, Ryan Hitchler and Joshua Pickering Pentland, coached by James Harcombe. Lane 6 from Unley High, Nate Lesu and Thomas Osborne, coached by Daniel Ralph and Tim Whitburn. And then lane 7 from Northern Beaches Secondary College, we have Tobias Elias and William Robertson, coached by Tom Schranko and Kieran Kabelke. So that crew from Northern Beaches, normally rowing out of the Mossman Rowing Club, part of that growing program that's had some fantastic results over the course of the season, particularly at New South Wales Championships rowing for Mossman. And again, we've seen a few of those doing quite well here at the Australian Rowing Championships.
Yeah, indeed. Collecting medals